Now, you don't normally expect heroes to kill willy-nilly. Sure, some of them have a license to kill, sometimes literally in the case of James Bond, but heroism sort of goes hand in hand with simple moral goodness. Anything diverging from that, and you're basically an anti-hero or even a villain. So it's always interesting when a hero is forced to make an excruciating decision for the greater good. And when it involves killing someone, or lots of people, so things are better in the long run, you're looking at a truly complex character moment that tends to inspire great performances and bags of emotion. So let's take a look at some, shall we? I'm Adam, this is What Culture, and here are 10 movie heroes forced to kill for the greater good. Number 10. Dr. Manhattan takes out Rorschach, Watchmen. In Watchmen, Rorschach is pretty much the black sheep of the superhero ensemble. His methods are unconventional, his worldview cynical at best, and he loves eating beans out of a can. Right up until the finale, he was also the most grounded voice of reason, unseduced by the glamour of superheroism and not as disconnected as some of his fellow Watchmen. But once the reality of Adrian's plan for world peace through genocide hits, he flips on the rest of the hero's moral compasses. He states he will uncover the truth, even though it will threaten the fragile peace between the US and Russia built on their unified hatred and fear of Dr. Manhattan. And unfortunately for him, the only way to stop him, as he tells Dr. Manhattan, is to kill him. He's an innocent, but he stands in the way of world peace, so Manhattan explodes him. All for the supposed greater good, though Rorschach's diaries will end up uncovering the truth anyway. Number 9. Superman breaks Zod, Man of Steel. As anyone with half an idea of what Superman means will be able to tell you, Krypton's most famous son has a fairly tight no-killing code at the core of his moral being. If he can avoid it and use non-lethal methods, and it's wrong to say he's never killed before but only in extreme situations, then he will only use non-lethal actions. When he was faced with Zod in Man of Steel though, he seemed to have no choice. Despite the contradiction of him not killing every potential threat to him or the people of Earth to save innocence, Superman snaps Zod's neck in anguish to stop him from killing an innocent family. It's an almighty show of strength, but more than anything it was designed to show that Superman could do the most difficult things in the name of the bigger picture. It's been a point of serious contention since the film's release, but it actually made Superman more interesting, a rare case of Snyder's eye for darkness improving things. Number 8. Luke Skywalker kills Death Star workers, Star Wars. As Star Wars movies have increasingly tried to educate us over the years, the divide in the Force is not as black and white as it first seems. There are greys in the spectrum, and even within individual characters. That's what makes them so interesting. The idea that someone like Kylo Ren could be morally fluid, or that evil is pronounced as Darth Vader's could be redeemed in the end. That means that some acts in the galaxy far, far away have been dubious at best. Even the most nefarious, like killing the younglings, were done for the greater good, or at least a greater bad, which is why apparently nobody even blinked an eye when Luke Skywalker and his rebel chums destroyed a Death Star with lots of innocents on board. Subsequent Star Wars movies have established that many of those in the Empire's service weren't there willingly, and it's safe to assume that Skywalker killed thousands of them while taking out the threat to the galaxy the Death Star represented, and he never even looked back in honor of the fallen. Number 7. Ellen Ripley kills her babies, Alien Resurrection. This is slightly different to other examples here, but it counts on the same terms because it represents a mother putting aside her maternal instincts, no matter how perverse, for the greater good of the universe. In Alien Resurrection, the resurrected Ripley clone comes face to face with her mutant offspring, complete with angry, painful exposed genitalia and a tiny horned nose. For a brief moment, the pair share a tender embrace, seemingly heading towards a hybrid relationship that could change everything. But then Ripley's humanity kicks in and she saves Cole by burning a hole in the ship's hull with her acid blood and letting it suck the creature out. Her emotional reaction proves how much of a toll that decision takes on her, and that she's very much doing it because she's got no other choice. Number 6. Wolverine kills the Phoenix, X-Men: The Last Stand. The third X-Men movie had a lot of issues, but on reflection, it also came with a brilliant emotional punch at its end that saw Wolverine forced to choose between the woman he loved, albeit corrupted by the rampant Dark Phoenix power within her, and saving the world from her. In one of the most pointed metaphors for the difficulty in breaking up with someone you love, Logan literally persisted through his flesh being burned off to make it to Jean and stab her with his claws, all for the greater good. It's about the only emotionally authentic moment in the entire sequel, and watching Logan hold the dying Jean is undoubtedly one of the most devastating moments in comic book movies. It had to be done though. Number 5. Michael Corleone protects his father, the Godfather. The Godfather Part 2's most heartbreaking moment, in which Michael is forced to put out a hit on his brother for his betrayal, ranks pretty highly on the list of deaths for the greater good, but it's more like vengeance, and Michael doesn't do the deed himself in the end. More fitting is Michael slain in the first movie in the Bronx in retaliation for the assassination attempts on his father and to advance the power of his family. It might not be a greater good in conventionally moral terms, but Michael turning his back on normal life and embracing his role as Vito's heir even before Sonny's death is very much done for the greater good of the Corleone family, and with it, his dream of not being involved in the mafia dies. That's the undercurrent to that stunning scene and the reason for its stunning impact. Number 4. Eban kills himself 30 Days of Night. Heroic sacrifices are a band apart from someone being forced to kill someone for the greater good, but there can sometimes be crossover. That much is the case with the adaptation of grim horror comic 30 Days of Night. In the film's finale, Josh Hartnett's Sheriff Eban Olsen makes a heroic last stand, having already been forced to kill off some of his friends as they're about to turn into vampires. Realizing that his wife is trapped by vampires, he infects himself by injecting a vampire's victim's blood and turns in order to be able to fight them off. He effectively kills himself to power up to save his wife and the town's survivors from the rampaging vampires before allowing the sun to burn him to dust. It's a massively heroic sacrifice he makes. Number 3. Captain Nemo sacrifices his crew, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The key to most of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen's character work is that everyone is supposed to appear to be untrustworthy. Everyone in this world lives on a sliding scale of morality as determined by what is necessary, with even the most traditionally heroic members of the ensemble capable of grave crimes for the betterment of their situations or the mission. They're basically a company of monsters after all, but it means they're the best monsters for the job. That much is proved by Captain Nemo when he orders the aft bulkhead to be sealed when his ship, the Nautilus, is damaged and sinking. When a crewman tells him that there's other crew down there, he almost coldly says it's for the greater good, sealing their fate as he seals the flooded part of the ship. Number 2. Scarlet Witch kills her love, Avengers Infinity War. Poor Scarlet Witch has had a tough ride in the MCU. Born out of a tragedy when her parents were slain in warfare, she was then experimented on, admittedly willingly, by Hydra, saw her brother killed, accidentally killed hundreds of people in Africa, and then had to fight her boyfriend and unwittingly distract him so much he crippled their other friend. And then on top of it all in Infinity War, that same lover, Vision, asked her to destroy him to stop Thanos from getting his hands on the Mind Stone, as she was the only one capable of doing so. Despite initially arguing against it, when the time came, she was forced to put her feelings aside to kill Vision for the good of the universe. You can practically feel her anguish as his life slips away under her powers. In the end, it doesn't even matter, since Thanos reverses time and undoes her sacrifice anyway to kill Vision again. So here's to you, Thanos. Number 1. Batman kills Two-Face's victims, The Dark Knight. When is a kill not really a kill? When a character needs to be seen to have killed for the greater good, specifically when Batman preserved the fragile state of law and order in Gotham by making sure the city's real white knight's reputation wasn't tarnished. The greatest thing Batman did for Gotham wasn't taking down the Joker or the Scarecrow, or even cleaning up organized crime. It was taking the rap for Harvey Dent's murders from the Dark Knight's climax. He recognized that he needed to take those murders as his own to prove that Gotham could live with the hope of something better, the hope that would become the light the city used to guide its way to order. Sure, Batman was ostracized and had to go into hiding, but in openly claiming that he was a killer, he not only gave Gotham Dent as an unblemished hero, which it needed, but it also doubled down on the fear Batman used to keep crime levels down. He had no choice but to claim he killed, or everything he was fighting for would have crumbled along with Gotham. And there we have it, folks, our list of 10 movie heroes forced to kill for the greater good. But you know what to do by now. Make sure you leave us down there in the comments your choice of movie hero that was forced to kill for the greater good. And while you're there, make sure you give us a like and a subscribe. If you want to follow me on socials, I am @Strawn87 across all social media. Come and say hello to me on there. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, take care.